Hello. My name's Daniel Blair. I'm a violinist, but I wasn't always a violinist. That's not true. Yes, I was. Take 7. There's more birds up there. This is really creepy. Creepy sounds. My name's Daniel Blair. I'm a violinist. Prior to doing that full time, I worked in the ER. It's true. Now technically it's ED, Emergency Department. Once there's a TV show that calls it something, like ER, it's really hard to transition people. I'm just gonna be honest with that. So I was 18 years old, and because I was going into medicine at the time, my mom basically forced me to do a CNA class to become a nursing assistant. I didn't want to do it because it wasn't glamorous. Like I was going to be a doctor. As an 18-year-old, I wasn't good at getting jobs yet. I eventually took her recommendation and signed up for the CNA class. So we go through it, and my favorite one that we went through was the emergency department. So I told our director, please let me work in the emergency department. She goes, you cannot work there unless you have at least 2 years experience, so it's really hard to get a job. But while we were there, I nabbed the emergency department manager's business card, and I started calling her. I would really like a job there. And she was like, no, we're not hiring. So, if you have learned anything about my life, I am annoyingly persistent. I started nagging this poor lady. Basically, eventually she gave in. I'm so grateful to this lady for doing that. And I began working night shift. Night shift is where all the cool people work, if you're night shift. Now, if you're day shift, you think that night shift is where people who are scared of administration work. Both are true. Okay, here's some of my stories. So I'm working in the ER, and I remember very vividly the first time that I did CPR on a human being. You know, it seems dramatic, but in reality, it's not that hard to do, technique-wise, and it is very exhausting. So I couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, all these nurses, like, they're gonna let me, the new guy, do chest compressions. Found out like 2 minutes later why, because I'm like pouring sweat. And they're standing there, obviously doing a lot more. But I had so much adrenaline going on this first time. This guy came in, I had never seen anything like it. I remember the smells. It's really tough to describe the smell of like just massive open wounds. It's very unique all to its own. And I remember that just like hitting me, and it was like hot in the room. Everyone did their jobs, and I started compressions, and when I like pushed on him, there wasn't anything there. Like if you push on yourself right now, you'll feel your sternum and your ribs. There wasn't anything there. Like there was nothing. It was like a balloon. And at the same time, there's this huge adrenaline spike because you feel like you're doing something important, like something that matters. You really feel like you're part of the team. And I'd like to say that you get that feeling every single time, but you really don't. There was many times where you had to forcibly like tell yourself the words in your head. Like, this is a human being. If you're going 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle and you slam into a guardrail, when that many of your bones get broken, it's not the same. You can't move them the same. They look almost like a totally different creature. So you have to like physically remind yourself. It's getting kind of sad. Okay, I'll change. We'll go to new stuff. So I became crazy curious about all the knowledge that the doctors had in their brains, and I would just ask questions. Sure, it got very annoying. They would like order this, and I'd look at the chart, and I'd be like, excuse me, why did you order this? Because that is the correct procedure. No, you don't understand. Like, I just don't know what that means. I would like to know because I want to be a doctor one day. And they took a lot of time with me. Every time there was an x-ray, CT scan, whatever they're reading, they would be like, hey Daniel, come look at this. They'd scroll through, what do you see? What does this look like? Oh, I think that might be a kidney. Yeah, what angle is it coming from? It's like it's from upside down. You kind of get to have some fun. Woohoo! All right, I don't feel like this one's as exciting. So I spent almost 4 years in the emergency department. I learned an awful lot. I had an awful lot occur to me. Been smacked, elbowed, punched, tackled, peed on, pooped on, thrown up on. Anyway, yeehaw. Okay, so that's what I learned. I'm Daniel, sharing with you the life experiences that I have acquired in my short time here on Earth.